What's up? So I just got out of my viewing of Brave New World, Captain America: Brave New World, and let me tell you, this movie. I see so much negativity on this movie. I see so much negativity saying that it's been chopped and changed, that this movie's no good, the action feels rushed. It feels like it's just another episode of Falcon Winter Soldier. And I'm just gonna tell you right now that all that's wrong. This movie bangs. This movie bangs so hard. Listen, I was out on Marvel for a while. Marvel to me was getting repetitive. It was getting uneasy. It was just a bunch of blah. But if we're talking about ranking this movie, I don't want to do some recency bias and say it's like top five, top 10 yet. But I do think it's a very good movie. As far as movies go, this is a pretty good movie. If you're looking to spend 2 hours of this valuable time we have, this is a proper movie to do it. So I'm going to start with the positives because there's so many of them, and then I'll talk about the negatives after. But just know that this has more positives than negatives for sure. So, one, the cameos in this movie and tying up all the loose ends from all the previous movies that we were kind of like, is this ever going to be brought back? Is this something we actually need to know? Is this end credit scene something? Some of it is, yes. Some of it's not, sure. But the cameos in this are great. Obviously, we have Thaddeus Ross, played by Harrison Ford, which he's a positive and a negative for me, and I'll get into that later. You got his daughter from The Incredible Hulk is back. Liv Tyler. Uh, you got some other cameos. The leader is to me probably the best part of the movie. Honestly, I thought the leader was great in this movie. Uh, I know all I can think about when I see the actor is just Holes from my childhood, which is a great movie too. But that's he's in this and he's great. Um, so the cameos are good. I don't want to go into more than that, but there's a couple more that are are well worth the wait. Although the one cameo near the end of the movie, I kind of got to figure out why my man's wearing a suit like that, and then acting all, business like. But this is non spoiler, so we'll save that for a different time. Um, Another positive, the duo. A lot of people are talking about how the new Falcon talks too much. He's not funny. He's just annoying. I didn't get that at all. I think this dude rocks. I'm so hyped for the Falcon to be in the next Avengers and in the same capacity, hopefully, that Anthony Mackie was before he got the shield. Other part of the duo, obviously, Anthony Mackie is Cap. Listen, if there was any doubt that this man could carry a solo Cap movie on his own, they should be washed away now because there's no doubt anymore. This dude rocks. Now, granted, he's not Chris Evans, and that's totally fine. This is a different thing. I love Chris Evans. I love the actor. I love the character that he plays as Cap. Like, I love it all, but this is a different thing. And with what they did with, his suit, the wings, everything is great. The suit kind of debatable actually, but the wings and like the kinetic energy, the Wakanda stuff, like the shield, it's all dope. A negative for me we'll get into later, but has to do with the super soldier serum. Anyway, more positives. The leader, like I said, the villains positive for sure. Red Hulk positive. The other villain, Sidewinder, positive as well, although he wasn't in it nearly enough, so that's upsetting. Another positive, aerial fights. Listen, I'm a huge fan of like aviation, uh, like planes, World War II, like especially planes, uh, Air Force stuff. I guess I love that stuff. I'm terrified to fly in planes, which is ironic because I do love that kind of stuff. The aerial fight over Timut or Amut or whatever the celestial island is. I just watched the Eternals. I should know this. The aerial battle at sea between Japan and America, I guess Japan and the leader, uh, great stuff. Absolutely, just balls to the wall, coolness. I loved every minute of it. Um, a couple other fight scenes were really good. The opening fight scene I thought was kind of slow and clunky, uh, until Falcon kind of showed up and they split up a little bit. Then I thought the Cap kind of it was fine. It wasn't anything great, but the next couple of fights after that were great. Obviously, the big fight at the end was pretty great. Um, could be better, but it was great. This is non spoilers. We'll get into spoilers, and I'll talk a little bit more about it. But Um, the wings, like I said, great. The shield play great. I like the kinetic energy the absorbing of the kinetic energy by the wings. I think that that's dope. And him holding the shield, just that whole aesthetic is so sick. And like, why wouldn't you do that with wings? You know what I mean? Especially if they're made of vibranium and can absorb kinetic energy. So I thought that was pretty sweet. And then the super soldier serum, it's a positive and a negative for me. They touched on it in Falcon Winter Soldier. Obviously, Sam Wilson did not take the super soldier serum, but there's so many other people out there that did, and he just hasn't. And I think that it's good for like the morality of his character, and I think it's good for like the image of Captain America, I guess, even though he's kind of like a rogue agent, isn't really working with the government all the time, but kind of is. And then like, especially in Captain America Civil War, it's like Sam Wilson and Cap were off the reservation for sure. But I'm so torn on. I don't know if I like the fact that he didn't take the super soldier serum or not. I like it. I don't. I'll figure it out by the end of this video. Negatives. Listen, this is probably a negative that people aren't going to agree with, but I think that it might be the two worst parts of the movie. One, that Esposito did not get enough screen time, and that the Serpent Society didn't play a bigger role in this film. I was hoping that Sidewinder would be the main villain or like paired up with the main villain. And I was hoping that the Red Hulk was just kind of be like either an opening fight scene or like a middle of the movie fight scene. And then we were going to get like a big thing at the end. Kind of, I guess, harking back to like the best Marvel movie ever made, Winter Soldier. If you think about Winter Soldier, Bucky's big fight scene with Cap and Falcon is right in the middle of the movie. And then at the end, they get another little fight scene, but it's not huge. And for the most part, they're fighting Hydra. So I thought it was going to kind of resemble that. The fact that it didn't, I guess, makes sense because you don't want to keep just copying and pasting the same movies over and over. But I feel like having a actor playing Sidewinder of that caliber, you should have him play a bigger role, and I hope he does in a future movie or movies. But him and Harrison Ford being the two villains was fine. Harrison Ford, like I said, this is going to be something that people don't agree with, but Harrison Ford for me, that's not Thaddeus Ross. That's not Thunderbolt to me. Thunderbolt Ross. That's Harrison Ford as a guy about to turn into Red Hulk. One of the main things I think that they ruined in the lead up to this film is that Harrison Ford was like, they should have tilted it a little bit more and had more of like the aerial battle over Japan or over Tiamut or whatever, the Celestial. They should have had more of that in the trailer. They should have had more Sidewinder stuff in the trailer, more like political thriller stuff in the trailer, and then left all of the Red Hulk stuff for the movie. Like, maybe hint at it or joke about it, but don't show it. Certainly don't show it, especially if that's your big ending fight scene, which, spoiler alert, it totally is. But Harrison Ford as the Red Hulk to me was just not, it wasn't not good. Like, obviously Harrison Ford's a good actor, but I think the movie would have been so much different had you had the actual Thaddeus. Obviously the actor passed away, R.I.P., but if he didn't pass away and you had him for this movie, I think it's a completely different vibe. I think that this movie is infinitely better. Now, I'm not saying Harrison Ford ruins this movie by any means. It kind of hinders the feel and the vibe of being in the movie that this is just Harrison Ford. And we already know he's going to be Red Hulk, so he's obviously going to be Red Hulk at the end of the movie because he's not Red Hulk yet. And like, you're still working through the leaders' plans and whether Sidewinder and the Serpent Society are a big thing in this. Like, you're working through all of that, knowing that the payoff is the Red Hulk, which it kind of ruins it in a way. Now, for only 3 negatives, one, the actor Harrison Ford playing Thaddeus Ross, which I can't really tell you that that's a negative because he didn't do that. Like, he didn't choose to be in that role, it was all circumstantial. Obviously, he signed the contract, whatever. But it was circumstantial because the previous actor passed away, R.I.P. And then Esposito coming on, I know he came on late. I know there was rewrites and all kinds of stuff like that. But, just give him more. Give him whatever more, because he's so good as an actor and so good in the movie, and he just brings this creepy vibe. And then the leader being like the guy that ties it all together, I thought that was great. Just give Esposito more time. Don't ruin the Red Hulk for us, and maybe the payoff would be a little bit different. But that's my only complaint. Other than those two things, give Esposito more time. Don't spoil Red Hulk for me. Other than those two things, the movie was fantastic. I absolutely loved it. And even with those two things, the movie's still great. Like, Esposito on screen is killer. I do love the Serpent Society, Sidewinder. All that stuff's great. And Harrison Ford is great. It's just, it's just a different vibe than, we'd probably like, and they ruined it kind of at the end. So, but yeah. Honestly, it's a great movie, and all this negativity surrounding it. Listen, there was a bunch of rewrites, a bunch of reshoots. There was so much stuff that went into this movie that didn't happen. There was a bunch of new writers that came on. There was, obviously the passing of the actor for Thaddeus Ross. There was, obviously fighting with people of whether like Sam Wilson can carry a movie or not, or Anthony Mackie, which obviously he can. He's a great actor. Then there was all the Israel stuff with the short little Black Widow girl, who, by the way, was killer in the movie. I didn't realize she was only 5'2". She looks so small, and she's an Israeli Black Widow essentially. I thought she was great. I thought she was killer in the movie. I don't get all of the keep all that crap out of the movie. You know what I mean? We're just talking about the movie, and she was great. And all the negativity is surrounding the new Falcon. I thought he was dope. I thought he was great. I think his suit looks sick. I'm a big fan of the green and the brown. He was funny. He was trying everything he could to impress. The new Cap. He was great. So all the negativity surrounding the movie, I don't know what that's about. Go watch it. Enjoy your time, and have a great time. And then whenever this Captain America's back, and he's hanging out fighting Doctor Doom with his kinetic energy wings, it's going to be so dope. It's going to be so good. So this movie was killer. I give it 8 out of 10, 7.5, 8 out of 10. I genuinely thought it was a really good movie. And yeah, I'll do a non-spoiler and a spoiler video. Like and subscribe if you enjoy the stuff. Check out my Twitch channel, Danny Nines on TTV. And yeah, check out the podcast coming weekly. Thanks. Peace.